Welcome back to What Are You Saying, the realest podcast in the world, the people's podcast where people can not only learn and grow, but also feel heard and seen. This is the first time I actually memorized the intro. I just want to say, and I think it's because our guest today made me laugh so much off camera because of my technical issues. But today we have a wonderful guest. I actually saw her video pop up on my feed when she was collabing with the Arab Run Club. So shout out to the both of them. Today we have Elise.
It's Elise in Arabic and French, and Alice in English.
Okay, great. So at least I'm gonna say it in the Arab way because we're both Arab here. And then at least welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Now, before we start, we'd love for you to let people know where they can find you, where they can follow you.
Yeah, so I'm a new fitness influencer. So I only have Instagram and TikTok. The Instagram is Coach Alice _. And for the TikTok, it's Alice Ahmed. I'm into fitness and fashion. And along with that, I'm also posting my life. So I do have 2 accounts. I have a private life and then I have, fitness influencing.
Your fitness influencing, and inshallah that goes well. When I was, and of course, you're also a neuroscience graduate. So when I was looking through your portfolio, and I know I asked our other mutual friend to ask you because in my head I'm like, I just wanted to make sure that you're also comfortable with it as well. But if you can tell us about your story about you becoming a neuroscience graduate and then how you transitioned to becoming a fitness coach.
Okay, so I didn't transition. I still use whatever I learned. Technically, back when I was in high school, I wanted to get into med school. So the goal is that when I apply to universities, I have applied to kinesiology and physiology, and I got accepted to UFT for that. So that was the plan. I wanted to go there or go a view of Ottawa as well. So I got accepted to these two. But then subhanAllah, twists and turns of everything. I met a woman and she was telling me, you should do med school in, Dalhousie, which is far off of where I want to go. I wanted to go to Ontario, but then I ended up going to Nova Scotia. So when I ended up going there, it was too late to apply to kinesiology. So my only option was to apply to Bachelor of Science. And the advisor was telling me that, if you do that, later on you can declare a major. So that's what I did basically. I took, science, and then I fell in love with neuroscience, which was very surprising because in high school I never took psychology. Our subjects were more related to AP. So yeah, I fell in love with psychology. I fell in love with that idea. It was just very unique to me. And so I pursued with neuroscience because neuroscience was more advanced and it's more related to the nervous system and connecting that to the brain. So it was more into the medical aspect. And I loved that. And I did that, while I was studying. Basically, I moved to Canada on my own when I was 17. And it's very surprising to all Muslim and Arab communities that a girl is traveling on her own.
Mhm.
How is that even possible? But alhamdulillah, there was so much faith and trust from my parents and my family.
Alhamdulillah.
So, you know, I was here during COVID as well, and I was here on my own. Uh, so istikhara is what led me to Nova Scotia and everything. I just felt comfortable and everything like that. I was like, you know what, let's go for a smaller city. I moved there, and then while I was living, I was going through so much mental distress because I'm doing all of this on my own. It's all new. I've never been here before. I don't have any friends. And it was even during quarantine. And even during quarantine, I was not even finding a place to stay. So I was very stressed, but my mom would always calm me down. She's like, listen, everything happens for a reason. There will be a place for you. You just have to, stay calm, pray, keep searching. I found the right place, alhamdulillah, and I lived with one of these roommates for 4 years. We also graduated on the same week. I was very happy to have her in my life. She was a sister and everything to me. But yeah, along with that stress, I got into fitness. And so
Mhm.
when I got into fitness, I wanted to go to gym and everything. I didn't know how to use a dumbbell or all that stuff, so I learned watching videos, watching people how they do stuff, and I started doing that. I started lifting weights, things like that, but I had no guidance. And at some point, I went back home to UAE during a long vacation, and I had a personal trainer. So It was a great experience. She taught me things I didn't know. Like it's just small movements, things like that,
Mhm.
that like we people are not aware of, and especially with men, because men ego lift and they get women into doing that, and then people get injuries. So I was very grateful that I had that, experience of learning from a good coach of like important movements, things like that. And then, from there, I was very inspired, like I went back to Halifax and I was like, why don't we have this? I don't know, like, I just, I barely see Muslims out there, you know what I mean? It's like, especially because it was a very small town, and especially when I came at that time there was like barely any Muslims, barely, like we don't even have a women's only gym. It just, like, yeah, we don't even have that. All of that started happening in a span of like last year, you know what I mean? So there was not really like safe communities, things like that. So yeah, like I was working at a gym, my university gym, as a part time. And every time I worked there, I wanted to help people, like what I learned and everything. I was like, I'm not a personal trainer, but like I'm still a coach. You know what I mean? Like I was considered that as like in the position that I'm a motivator and a coach. So when anyone needed spotting or any help with like how to use this machine and all that stuff, I guided them. And I loved doing that. That was the best part of being a staff. And then my manager one time was like, Alice, to my office. I was like, am I in trouble? And he was just like, he sat me down. He was like, you should be a personal trainer. Have you ever thought of that? And I was like, not really. Why do you think that? Whatever. And he was like, I see the way you care for people and how you guide them in a very good manner. That's very hard to find. And I think you should apply for it, get the certification, and I will hire you here right away. At that point, I was in neuroscience. It was very tough, and I wanted to focus more on my studies. So I didn't get into it, but it was in the back of my head. And like, can you imagine? Like, I'm interested into med school, not this at all. I never
Mhm.
even would be posting. But subhanAllah, like things change, things happen. So like I thought about it. So when I went to UAE again for vacation, I did the exams and everything, alhamdulillah, took my certification and took nutrition as well. And then right away, like while I was in UAE, I was searching for places to apply as a personal trainer. And subhanAllah, there was like a women's only studio that opened. So I was like, I reached out to them. I was like, hey, like I would like to work with you, right? And I did have experience as a personal trainer at the gym where I worked at, but it wasn't really like a bigger experience. So then, yeah, went with them, whatever, but things didn't work out. So that's when, like, like I started applying to different jobs. And sorry, I'm just plugging in my laptop.
You're good.
So things happen. A lot of issues happen. I was jobless for 5 months, and not to mention, I worked with the government. I worked in healthcare. I have experience, but at this point, like Halifax has become overpopulated. That like no one would hire and anything like that. So I was like, you know what? What's stopping me from moving to a different city? What's stopping me from
Mhm.
different to a different province? Like I have no attachment here. I don't even have a family here, right? So I told my parents. My parents were okay with it. They're like, "You already moved from UAE to, you know, to Canada. You're capable. Do it if you are gonna find jobs." And I was like, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna do it because like there's more opportunities here. So obviously, before moving, I did my research and I found a gym, a Muslim-owned gym. It's called Sultan Fitness. And so I had an interview with them, went great. And like I looked into like the gym and the facility. It's a private gym. And I found out that like, like this is where I want to be. The energy, the growth, and like the way he talked to me was just basically like he wants to teach more than anything. He's not someone who seeks for money. He seeks for like growth and results more than anything. You know what I mean? In the end of the day, he's an immigrant too. Like he's someone who moved
Mhm.
at a young age. So, I understand him. And I was like, yes, I want to work with that guy. And basically, I moved here, alhamdulillah, and I moved to Mississauga, Ontario, and I worked with him. And so, along with that journey of me being a personal trainer, I realized that I want to start posting. What got me into it was because like I started wearing hijab like for 2 years right now. So it's new.
Mashallah.
It's new for me, yes, alhamdulillah. My parents always taught me like, to love it and everything like that. They never enforced it on me, which is great. I think like the idea is that you want to make sure that you want to like make the person fall in love with what they have and things like that, and not hate it, right? I saw people, not really liking the hijab and everything like that. But alhamdulillah, like I did my own research on my own and learned the purpose of it. And then when I put it on, I was convinced, fully convinced. And when I put it on, there was no like I didn't see much of like hijabi influencers, but subhanallah, I put on the hijab around the same time of a very famous fitness influencer, Lena Deeb. She's a Gymshark influencer. She's my age or probably even younger, but it's interesting because we had the same perspective. Like, we both used to wear anything, but then like, like we got into fitness, but then you delete everything you have and start fresh. And so
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. And you know what? More than anything, when I post everything that is influencing, my goal is to influence women and specifically like Muslim and hijabi women. Like I want to showcase that you can be modest and still do what you like. You know what I mean? I don't see that a lot. So yeah, that's the story of everything basically. So like neuroscience and what I do, I connect them more than anything. I'm glad I did that because now I get to see that nerves are connected to the muscles. So like, you know what I mean? Like you kind of learn how to avoid injuries because a lot of people who have injuries are nerve related injuries. And so I learned how to prevent injuries more than anything. Yeah.
You have such an incredible story. I'm like listening to you. In my head, I was like, this is definitely a top three, no, top two now. This is a top one story, like the how depth you are.
Thank you.
Look, there's so many. No, you're welcome. Like in my head, I'm like, I don't know where to start from. I think a couple things that intrigued me is one, you said you moved to Canada, and I thought you were born here. You said you moved to Canada at the age of 17.
Yeah, so I was born here actually.
You were born here, okay, but you moved
But
to Canada at a young age by yourself,
yeah, yeah.
which I find so incredible because I think a lot of people would not even go do that. They'll try to like psych themselves out, and I
Yeah,
think
they'll stay with their family, things like that. It's like it's a comfort zone and it's really hard to like get out of it. And this is what I'm, alhamdulillah, yani, like I've learned to always push myself even if I have a fear. Like Halifax was like my comfort zone. Like, you know, that's it. I've lived here for 4 years. I got so comfortable with it and I have great genuine friends that I don't want to leave. They're my family now. But like the fact of like pushing yourself to do the things that are like even if it makes you feel uncomfortable are the best things to do. That's how you learn.
speaking about comfortability, I think a lot of people when they go to the gym, and of course you're a coach, and I'd love to hear your perspective about it because you're the first coach, by the way, gym coach we've ever interviewed. So this is like, in my opinion, it's like we're hitting new levels on this podcast. But in terms of being comfortability, how do you, when you're like working with your clients, how do you, sometimes they'll be like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't do this. So how do you get them out of that comfortability space and make them believe that they can? Because what I like about your bio is you said, I don't want to butcher it, and it's something that's I really do believe with, is you said the body achieves what the mind believes.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
So uh, everything is connected to your brain. It's all in your head. Even like when it comes to reps and weights and everything, we say we can't. I don't know why, like we're always thinking about negatives and like the harms and everything because that's what the society shows us. You know what I mean? You need
Mhm.
people that would show you positives before negatives. You know what I mean? And unfortunately we don't see that a lot of people say that, oh, like, wow, you're a nerd, wow, I don't know how you did that, oh wow, like it's always like, it's always like showing that this is a hardship and this is a hardship and this is a hardship. Everything in life is hard, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, med school is hard, but commerce could be hard too. You know what I mean? People don't show that. People be like, oh, like, it's just the ideology that, like, this is what's hard and this is not. And then when it comes to, like, training as well, it's like, I can't do this. I can't do this, right? I'm like, first of
Mhm.
all, I'm a personal trainer for a reason. I can see what you're capable of doing. This is why there is something called, you do 10 reps, right? if you feel like you're doing it easily, you can go advanced, right? In their head, they're like, no, we can't. I was like, you don't get to decide if you can or not. This is how I speak, by the way. I'm like, like it's an aggressive, but like it's also very motivational. Like I want to
Yeah.
motivate my clients. I'm very like realistic. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't sugarcoat. I don't be like, yes, like like yeah, you got this. But like no, it's like more of like I'm like, like I see what you can do and you're capable. So your head learns what like your brain learns what like you say a lot. So the more you say I can't, I can't, I can't, it will make it like it'll stick to your brain to the point that it'll
For
start
sure.
saying that for everything you do. So that's why I was like, start saying you can, start saying you can. And it's like those are the things that will make you more confident because like again, the brain is connected to your muscles as well. So like all of that is connected, all your nervous system is connected. And how do you push yourself beyond that? It's like basically start saying the positive stuff, you know what I mean? Rather than just always saying the negative stuff, saying that you can and it's saying that it doesn't hurt to try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why like I always like show them that I'm here, right? As a personal trainer, like I'm here for you, I'm here to spot you, nothing wrong is gonna happen. And alhamdulillah, I never had anyone who got injured. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Like because of how I, like push them. I'm not an ego lifter. There's a difference. I'm not an ego lifter. I know what they're capable of doing and how that's how I push them.
A lot of you said it earlier. A lot of men are ego lifters. I see it at the gym that I go to. Like they were like, "Oh, put more weight." I'm like, "Listen, I think you're putting enough weight on your body, and you're barely
That's,
like."
yeah. See, it doesn't matter. Sometimes, like, my body weight is like, what, almost like, I don't mind talking about weights because, like, I'm a personal trainer, right?
Yeah.
But, like, the weights doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? It's more about the mass, the strength, and all that stuff. So, like, for example, like, okay, I'm almost like 130, but I can squat double my weight,
Which is
and
better.
people it's crazy, you're like, how are you doing
Yeah.
that, right? And I don't even put a belt on, right? But it's more of like
Mashallah.
techniques and things that people don't even think about, that I keep telling my clients. It's your breathing. Your breathing is what matters because your breathing protects you. A wrong breathing could get you injured. You know what I mean? It's things like that that people don't think about, right? But what do ego lifters do? They scream. And that but screaming is there's nothing wrong with it. They want to like let out the thing, but like it's
Yeah.
it's the fact that like they don't measure what they're capable of doing. They just go for it, right? So you have to obviously measure and think about it and then like go for it. So
It's funny you said that because at the gym that there's two stories. The gym that I go to, there's just like this guy that's always screaming and he's putting a lot of weight. And I can tell he's not able to hold it because you're not even like completing your full like rep. Yeah, your full rep. He's
yeah.
like, "Ugh." He's like, I held it. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, brother, you didn't even like go all the way. You just like held
Yeah.
it to show that you can hold it. I think anybody can hold a certain weight to an extent.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, go on.
No,
You were
sorry. I'm
saying something?
saying it's like attention.
100% is attention. I think a lot of them for guys is they see girls in the gym, they want to show that that they can hold heavy.
Yeah.
Me, at the other point, I'm just like focused on myself,
Yeah.
going for the hour and a half I need to go to, depending. Because you said you could squat 2 plates. I don't think I'm at that level or near that level. Legs is something I need to work on. I feel like I need a female trainer for legs specifically because I feel like guys don't train legs.
Yeah, I know, I know. That's the thing. We have an ideology that women are supposed to do legs more, lower body, and then the guys should do upper body. It shouldn't be that way. And this is why, if you notice, like the things that I post more of like upper body because women don't target that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like very important to do a full body because they're all connected. Your whole body is connected. If your shoulders are not strong enough, you're not gonna be able to squat. You know what I mean? Like everything is connected in your body, and I think everything deserves like its time, and like you also deserve a recovery. It's things like that. Like people sometimes work out 7 days a week. I'm like, why are you doing that? Your body won't grow the way it needs to be. The muscles won't grow the way it needs to be. And so then your body needs recovery as well.
they're also not sleeping as well. Like I think a lot of people, like to your point, they go to the gym 7 days a week, and they also don't realize that you taking the break from the gym is also you recovering and growing your muscles, and also you sleeping properly is also for your body to grow. And it kind of reminds me of a story like when I was 18 years old. This is like years ago. I remember I was talking to this guy that I used to work alongside with, and I remember he asked me because I was a lot smaller then, way smaller. I was like so skinny when I was 18. He's like to me, he's like, "Why do you want to go to the gym?" And I said, I just want people like to notice. I want like everybody to notice, girls, guys, that I'm the biggest guy in the room. He's like eating like nonchalantly, and he says, "Yeah." He's like, "You're not gonna go to the gym." He's like, "I'll give you 1 week." He's like, "If that's your reason,"
Yeah.
he's like, "It has to be something else, a reason like you okay, you want to get stronger, you want to gain strength. It has to be a reason." He's like, "You just told me you want people to notice." And I was saying the PG conversation because I feel like there's a lot of like cuss words going back and forth.
No, I that's the thing. A lot of people start gym to like, like I think people need to believe in themselves and find the real purpose of why you want to go to gym or why you want to be active, why you want to get into fitness, right? For me, it was my health. It started like imagine it started from the idea of mental health.
Hmm.
So it started from mental health, and that's what helped me. During my hard times, it was going to the gym, right? But
Yeah.
like other people will do it for physical health. And see, this is the right approach because you want to be like a good person who's able to help people and help yourself. So you want to be like physically good for that. You know what I mean? And I think like
Hmm.
people just look at the physical aspect of the looks, and there's nothing wrong with like wanting to be physically good, like how you look. But I think the main purpose should always be health, and then looking into like how you look, physique. You know what I mean? A lot of people start wrong, and that's why their discipline fades away, motivation fades away. You know what I mean? Yeah.
To ask you a question because you said something. So in terms when you're like working with a client, right? And sometimes, of course, you're probably asking what's your goals. So how do you rearrange your goals? Sometimes people, like as I said earlier, when I was 18 years old, I was saying, "Oh, I want to get big. I just want to get people to notice me." So if someone says that to you, or someone says something along those lines, how do you switch your brain or psychology? Because you mentioned like you love psychologists. How do you like switch your mental health part of it and say, you know what, the way you're viewing the gym is totally wrong.
Yeah. See, I don't do that because they have a goal, right? They want to look good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
And so what we do when before I train anyone is that I check their BMI. Our BMI at the gym is like basically it like tells you like every single detail about your health. Okay? So when I look into that, this is where I start like showing them and explaining what each means and like telling them that this is what you need to focus on, this is what you need to focus on. And start telling them that like, okay, every client of mine is different and unique in a like different way, which is nice. This is the beauty of being a personal trainer, and I don't think anyone can do it like, off the bat. Like it's something that you have to train for, and not anyone can be a personal trainer because from the name itself, being a personal trainer for multiple people, it's like being a therapist basically, but for the
I agree.
for the body, right? So like for me personally, like while I'm training them, I always open conversations with them. And this is important because even Sultan himself told me about this, that like when you're looking at every client, you want to understand their body type because every single person has a different body and every person has a different metabolism. And so when I'm looking at how their body is, I'm able to tell what kind of a job they have. You know what I mean? Because like if you're sitting all day on a desk doing work, your hips are going to be tight, your shoulders are going to be caved in, or some things like that, like people don't focus on. But like this is why I always ask about like what do you do in your life, what do you do, things like that, because like in that way you can tell, right? So when you find like their history basically, I talk to them every single time. It's like it's a slow talk. It's not like you tell them, you don't dump everything right away from the beginning. It's good to know the person on a personal level, and then knowing like what will motivate them, and then also telling them that like relating everything to health, you know what I mean? It's like reminding them that like when you're doing this is good, but like like there's this and that health aspect of it, and they don't know it. They'll always be like, oh, I didn't know that, oh, I didn't know that. So it's always like a learning experience. And even for myself, like people, like especially women these days, though they don't take creatine, and the thing is they think of it as a supplement. They like, oh, like I don't want to touch that, but like your brain and your body needs it even if you don't work out, you know what I mean? You need to be taking it because you don't want to end up later on in the future years have Alzheimer's, things like that that people don't think about. So yeah, I think it's just like you have to be there for the people and then like explaining to them one step at a time of the benefits and the harms and the health. And when you always have to explain it, don't just explain it like this, show them proof. And this is what I like to do. I pull out like research papers and articles because I've done that so long, like so many times that like when anyone like want to ask me something, I'm like, here's a research. No, literally, I send it to them. I either send it on like a group chat to the girls or like I send it to them privately to whatever we had a conversation of. It's funny because they're like, okay, good to know things like that.
I like how yeah, I think sending research papers is well, however you way, but having that like factual evidence, like this is what it is good. And also to your point about not anybody could be a personal trainer. I 100% agree with this because there's a lot of sometimes like someone could know how to work out for their own body, but then working with someone else's body is totally different. Because
100%.
you were just mentioning like certain like BMI terms. I don't even know. Like I know how I know workouts that are good for me,
Mm.
and I know one workout for me may not be good for you, vice versa. Like everybody reacts differently. But for a personal trainer to go look and say, okay, cool, we've done this workout a couple times and it's not done anything to you, we got to switch it up. Maybe add a superset, maybe do a drop set, whatever it is.
Hmm.
And to your point, you pretty much are a therapist for their body, their mental health. Because I feel like a lot of people at the gym they give up quickly, and I'm gonna get so much heat. I don't have a fitness coach, like I just go by myself, but I do believe, like I remember someone on our podcast said this. He's like a life coach, and he's like everybody should have a coach. So whether it's within fitness or like life, I feel like specifically people who go to the gym, even like the best athletes have coaches who help them with certain workouts. So I feel like it doesn't emasculate you as a man or doesn't take anything from you as a woman to have a coach
100%.
who and it's not anything about them being bigger or smaller than you. Like there's a lot of bigger guys, but their coaches are much more slim. But they tell them the way of better techniques. You have someone almost like a reinforcement, like, hey, keep going, keep going. I think that's really important, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree because like what is it called? Like how do I say this? So like I know people who like, like they tell me like I don't want a personal trainer. I learned from the videos, but then I see how they do it and then it's all wrong forms, right? So like you like having a personal trainer, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. You know what I mean? I think this is like a big important motto is like there's nothing wrong for asking for help. Whatever it is,
Hmm.
whatever it is, even academically at school, like in university. I remember where like I'm new to university and all that stuff, like I don't know what's going on. Like, university is just so new to me. And I saw people that had it all figured out, right? But I wasn't that. Like, people think that I'm nerd, but I'm honestly not a nerd. For me, I was not born smart, but I was born into like working hard and studying, like hard and all that stuff to get to where, other people are.
Hmm.
What I mean? Some people, subhanAllah, they're born smart. Their parents are doctors and everything. None of my parents are doctors. None of my parents are engineers or lawyers. But that does not mean that like you are not capable. You know what I mean? So it's like when I was in university, it was like I don't know, like it was just so hard. Like remembering it too was so hard because like I don't know who to go for. I didn't know who to go for help, anything like that. Alhamdulillah, I had a really good friend, who was there for me. It's finding genuine people that like, like you can go to and express how you feel and like they will help you, because not everyone can afford therapists, not everyone can afford coaches. That's the thing too. Like I realize that we live in a world where like financial stability is really hard.
Of course.
But it doesn't hurt. Like this is why I put myself out there as a fitness influencer because I want people to reach out. I make that very clear even when I did the Arab Run Club classes. I told people I was like, like I'm fixing their forms and everything, but then I tell them like if you have any questions, feel free to message me. I'm literally out there to help people, like, like if they need anything, it's okay to ask. You know what I mean? I don't know why people think that, like, okay, if I'm gonna ask, it's gonna be like, oh, she's gonna ask me like for a payment or something. People are always like, they're scared because now everything is like by money, right? But like I post educational stuff and I post like
Hmm.
motivational things to help you for free, right? And I think this is the right way of using a platform. It's to engage and motivate people the right way without like taking something in return. I think this is very important and a lot of people like give up on it. Like once they become very famous or they have everything they need, they forget that like we still need to give educational things for free.
I agree, and I know like when I was talking to you over like off camera, like a couple days before the podcast, one of the things I said, and I'm pretty sure I said it, is I like helping people who have, whether it's small creators, big creators, whatever I can. Because in my head, I believe that you're a community. Like, why can't you have 10,000 Muslims who are trainers all be competitive and all want and all have successful businesses? Why can't you have, there's probably what, 2 million podcasts out there. Why can't all those 2 million be all Muslims? There's 2
Yeah.
billion Muslims in the world, right? So in my head, I'm like, as long as you're competing with yourself and you have, to your point, you have supportive, real brotherhood or sister, real brothers or sisters who are actually supporting you and care for you. Because again, sometimes I find even with anybody who's in that most influencer space or any space, mind you, school, business, whatever it might, whatever you are, we do go through a lot of trials and tribulations. Even mentally, sometimes you get exhausted. You're like, am I really good for this? Like you'll be working for a year and you're about to give up, and then like that's really in that moment when you're about to give up is when things start going. But I think the one thing for me, I always try to tell people, and I use a gym analogy, is you don't get bigger. And me and my brother actually have this bet, and it's gonna happen in a couple of weeks. By end of December, I have to gain half an inch of my arms, and he has to squat a certain amount of weight. So we're gonna see. And we push each other too. Like in my head, I'm like, if I feel like I'm getting lazy, I'm like, no, I gotta push my child.
Exactly. See, you have that motive, so now it's like I have to push
Yeah,
myself, right?
it's funny.
Yeah,
It's
I
funny.
agree.
But in my head, just yeah, to your point, I think also the mental aspect is really important. I think a lot of people don't. Something I'm actually trying to do is not listen to music at the gym, and I have not, and I've been doing that for the past, I want to say 2 months. I haven't put music in my ears
That's
because in my
good.
head, I feel like, and I want to ask you this question. I feel like a lot of people use it to stimulate their body, stimulate their fact. Okay, I'm in the gym. Let me use it. But I want to be able to go to the gym with not having anything getting me ready. So when
Yeah.
for you as a trainer, when you're like working with your clients, and again, like you spoke about motivation. I was watching a lot of your videos, and you're talking about motivation isn't really the case, more about discipline. So how do you help your clients get discipline, or even yourself as well, for that matter?
So for me, I'll talk about my personal opinion about what I do for myself, and then I'll talk about what I help like with my clients. So for me, I always like to think 10 steps ahead of my future. Okay, like if I want to be healthy and I want to have kids and I want to have grandkids and I want to be there always, these are the things like I think about. Like I want to be always physically active with the people I love. I don't want to be what we call a casa. I feel like I'm always like struggling to even just get up, right? Like I don't want to
Yeah,
be that person. I want to be healthy. I always want to be there for like fun moments. So for me, these things, if I want to do that, that's my motive, right?
for sure.
So for me, like think about like the the minimal thing that you can do, and then think about the extra things that you can do. I think that's how it helps me think is that like if I can go at least 3 times a week at the gym, this is me being realistic, right? If I have 7 days a week and I'm always busy and I'm working like 10 hours a day, that's okay. Like at least I have 4 days where I don't need to do that on my busy days, right? But like I force myself to go like at least 3 times, right? Um, so that's for me. Like for me, it's like if I can go 3 times a week, that's great enough for me. And if I can do more, that's perfect. Okay. So with my clients, I tell them that if they can go twice, right? Because not everyone have the same level. Okay. For me, I've been training for more than 3 years now, right? I've been training
Hmm.
so long. I've achieved what I want, but now it's like maintaining what I need to do. And because it's consistency, at some point, if you stop or you take a break from gym, all your progress goes down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for me, it's like I don't want that. I always want to just be stronger and always be stronger and always be stronger. It doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? As long as you're being cautious to how you're being strong, not ego lifting. You know what I mean? So that's the aspect for me. But then for my clients, I tell them like small, easy things, and I try to find hacks, and I try to be there for them. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, you're not gonna believe this. I think if she ever watches this, she's gonna laugh. My client. So yesterday I was working at the gym, and then
Yeah.
I see whoever's sending me meals and stuff like that, but I saw people who are not sending me their cardio. Okay? So, fun fact, cardio is important to people who are bulking or people who are losing weight. Whether you like it or not, you have to do cardio. But the extent of doing cardio will differ. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm always getting my steps in and everything like that. Alhamdulillah. Like even during work,
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm like, oh, I've been walking and working out with you guys. I did my steps. But like, yeah, like for my clients, sometimes like that's the beauty again of being a personal trainer. You want to be there for your clients because sometimes we all have hard days. You know what I mean? If they are having already a bad day and then they come to you to like work out, that's dedication, right? Like that they're showing up even they had a really horrible day at work, right? And like
Hmm.
you want to be there for them to motivate them, not to like, like drag them down, like tell them that you're weak or something. See, those are the negative things. Why do you want to call someone fat? Why do you want to call someone like, hey, you're weak? There's no need for that. This is these are the things that you're gonna make someone get into depression. You know what I mean? It's small things like that, but like you always want to push them. You always want to give them reasons to be more positive, right? And like, like each one of them has a story, so this is why you have to know and learn about what they like, because then you can adjust and find things that they like and integrate it. Okay? So
Hmm.
yesterday my client was feeling lazy and she was in bed. I don't know what made me have that feeling, but I was just like, I'm gonna call her. Called her. Was like, hey, how are you? This is like good. She was not expecting that call. I was like, yeah, you made me reach to a point where I have to call you now. Have you done your cardio? She's like, no, I wanted to. I was like, listen, if you told me you were out with your friends, I would have accepted that excuse. But the fact that you're in your bed doing nothing, get up and come to the gym. She goes like, I'm lazy. I was like, nope, that's not an excuse. I'll see you here. And she actually came. So I dragged her at like what 7 p.m. on a Saturday because I was like, yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, like I always send reminders to my clients and I'm like, you know what, like I get it. We're all busy, but like let's not slack on our health. You know what I mean? And even when I type it, it's to remind myself too, because no one is perfect. We all have our days where we slack. You know what I mean? So like for me, it motivates me as well. You know, when I see my clients doing so good and seeing people doing so good, it motivates you that you want to be better, right? Like that you also want to do good. So I think it's these small things that, helps them find their niche as well. Yeah.
I think I need to use some of your experience because sometimes when I call one of my friends who I do a talk show with, who's been like just like busy with work, because he's like Ghanaian and he's black, he has amazing genetics. So sometimes we'll be walking and people will be like, "Oh, you've been working out." I'm like, "Don't lie." I'm like, "You just have good genetics, dude." I'm like, "I'm the one that's working."
That is true. Yeah.
I'm like, "Put me you in the gym. I could bench more than you. I could squat more than you." And he's like, "Yeah, I've been working out." I'm like, "No." And then one time, someone asked him, he finally admitted he has good genetics. I'm like, "Thank you. Stop lying to people that you work out. Just because you have good genetics doesn't mean you can go lying about people like, yeah, I work out." I'm like, "Halas, I seen you not being able to like put up pull up yourself for doing a chin up."
Yeah. No, genetics does play a role. A lot of people don't know that.
It does.
So yeah, because we also have a trainer who's, mashallah, like he's very jacked. A lot of people also, I don't know why people out there, they always want to hate. They'll find any reasons to hate. You know what I mean? It's always
Yeah.
like Like, even if you're doing so good, they'll find anything they want to hate on, you know? So,
But honestly, I can say so much about that because in my opinion, I feel like the easiest thing is to hate. Like for example, with this podcast, I've been doing it for like since I was 23. The next year will be 8 years. So I feel like for people that who I know personally, like they're, oh, you're why are you still doing this? Why are you still doing this? Even though in my head I'm like I've interviewed so many like huge guests, but I don't use that as like my milestone. I'm just like, okay, cool. Allah's blessing you in a certain way. Keep going. But I feel like to your point, like why are we like breaking down, why are we hating on people? I think people who are insecure within themselves. Like for example, like at the gym, I know like I've gotten bigger to where I want to be, but I don't go look at for stuff. There's a lot of guys in my gym who are way bigger than me, regardless of if they're taking sport, drug, like whatever they're taking. I don't care about what they're taking, but I don't compare myself to them because one of my favorite quotes is comparison is the thief of comparison is the thief of joy. So I'm not gonna compare myself to you or to compare myself to someone else. I'm just gonna compare myself to me. People
exactly.
who hate though, because I have thick skin, I'm only speaking for myself. Someone could say, "Yo, you're skinny or you're dumb." I'll just laugh. I'm like, whatever. I'm not even gonna entertain it because I feel like I have the ammo. Let's say, for example, if hypothetically down the road we have a stronger relationship and like, we have a good relationship and someone says something about you, I get offended because in my head I'm like, if you attack someone who I have a good relationship with, I get more offended. Like when someone says something about my friends, my family, I'm like, "Khalas, you crossed the line." About me, I'm like, I'm not because I know you don't know me. And I
Yeah.
feel like people, they know what they're doing when they're hating on you. So when someone's hating on you, I just look at it, you're doing something correct. For
Yeah.
them to go out of their way and hate on you, you're doing something correct.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Like, till now, I get people who like shame me. You don't even see what I'm wearing. Like, I wear like oversized. I try my best, right? And people call me like, "Oh, you're skinny." I was like, like I take it with a grain of salt and ignore it. Because in the end of the day, I know myself. And that's the thing. You'll always find people they want to hate or like they tell you things and stuff like that, right? That's the thing that like, drives me crazy is that like they always want to hate, people want to gossip, they always want to talk. Those are the people that I like, go find a life. Like actually. Because once you find a life, once you find a purpose, you'll be too busy that you don't want to talk about people and you don't want to like
Of
shame
course.
people and things like that, Yeah, it's
I'll
important.
just say to add on to your point, like when of course we don't know each other personally, but when I saw your account, when you popped up my page with that collab post, Arab Run Club, the first thing in my head, I'm like, I saw I loved your videos first of all. I thought how you were so connective and how I'm like, wow, mashallah. Like when I saw the video of you squatting, like, I think it was 2 plates, I'm like crazy. In my head, I feel like if I'm able to help out someone, I just followed you now because in my head, I'm like, and I've interviewed so many people. I don't care who follows you back. I don't really care for that. I only follow people who I find inspiring and I find creative. So in my head, I'm like,
Yeah.
I've interviewed over 100 guests, but I mean, like when I was talking to you right now, I feel like in my head, I'm like, no, there has to be like a third or fourth or fifth podcast down the road, and there's no way I'm only like only keeping one
Yeah.
because I know a lot of people in my head would connect with you because I feel you're someone who obviously the gym like I would say influencer. You're someone who's a coach, someone who studied neuroscience, and then even you said earlier, you said you claim not to be smart. I feel like, but you are intelligent. For someone to go study neuroscience and also have that mental aspect, saying I'm going to do this. I feel like when your mental status is a lot stronger than your talent, it goes a long way because that means your willpower, you won't give up. And I feel like I see a lot within you. Like you mentioned so much of how you push your clients, how you push yourself, and I feel like to me, one day you're gonna be extremely successful with whatever you amount yourself to do. And I'm here to support you. This is
Thank
episode
you.
173, and inshallah, in the next couple episodes when we come interview, you'll be at like 10,000 followers, if not more, inshallah.
Shalom. Yeah.
Yeah,
I appreciate that so much. Like that's like you said it, like intelligence means more and like even when I like talk to people, for me it's like I judge based on like how their soul is, not looks. You know what I mean? So like a lot of people like miss that this is important aspect. Like, like it matters what's in your heart, how kind you are, things like that, because these are what's gonna help you in the further longer run rather than just focusing on like the dunya and everything like that comes within the dunya, you know what I mean? So it's important to keep that in mind, whether is if anyone is religious or not, like like you want to focus on like what's gonna help you personally on a longer run. And even my roommate reminds me that. It's just like you're passionate about what you do. And a lot of people like do jobs, they're not even passionate about it. So, it's important to like, always be grateful for what you have, but always get out of your way and seek. Some people will wait and just, hope for something to come, and it's never gonna come. I promise you, if you don't put yourself out there, you're not gonna find it. Like I
Hmm.
literally applied to 12 jobs. Who would have thought, I have
Hmm.
a degree, but literally it's not getting me anywhere. They all want 5 years experience that I don't have. I just graduated. Um, it's always like something like that, like do the things that will make you feel uncomfortable, and that's what will make you successful.
I love that because I feel like, especially in the gym or anywhere in life, I feel like even with the podcast, like some people don't know we've been like I just mentioned it now, but people think we've been doing it since 2020 because that's when the first podcast got uploaded. But in reality, it was like since 2018. Yeah, 2018. And I feel like because once you think you're better than someone else is when you genuinely start being complacent and you're like, no. That's why I feel like in my head, for example, like you, I know this conversation would do amazing. But if me specifically, I'm like, okay, cool, khalas, I'm just gonna slow down. That's when you start losing. Like in the gym, you can't always think, I got a little bit bigger. Okay, now you gotta be like, okay, if the workouts aren't working, if the workouts aren't doing me justice, then I gotta ask someone else, ask questions, maybe go
Yeah,
make them much more intense because you want to grow. And I feel like comfortability, even to your point, like even amongst Muslims, you're not supposed to be comfortable. Like you can even ask yourself whether it's hard times or good times. If once you're comfortable, just know, in my opinion, you lost because
yeah,
someone else who's hungrier is going to come after you and take that away. So I feel like it kind of matters too. Aside from physical health, mental health, it's just like kind of how bad do you want it?
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah. And I think people do forget that like you are capable to stand up and go be active. Other people wish they could do that. You know what I mean? Some
of
people
course,
like I that's also one of like my motives, right? Like, and alhamdulillah, I have limbs, I can do everything. And like there are times where I am lazy, it's okay. I'll take the day off, restart the next day. But like we are not meant to be sitting all day. Just know that we
very
are
true.
meant to stand up and be walking and be hustling and be working and be tired. And I do feel tired every single day, but to me this is like something to be grateful of because like I remember being jobless. I remember, like yeah, I was having fun. Yes, I was having the social life I need. Now I barely see my friends, but I try my best to check on them, and they always like, you'll know who are the true friends when they once they check on you and things like that. At the end of the day, this whole world is a test.
For
Like
sure.
for you to like know when to perform is very important, and people forget in Islam that it's important to go to gym and work out, and it's important to be physical active and all that stuff. Very important. I'm always trying to empower that as much as I can because for women, it's very sad. Like, till this day, can you imagine that a lot of Muslim women don't even gym? They say that their physical look looks good. To them, that's enough. I'm like, it's not about that. It's about your bone density. It's about your muscle mass, the things that will protect you in the longer run. You never know. One day have cancer, la samhallah, but like it's something very unexpected. These things are very unexpected, like so it's very important to be cautious, to keep these in mind. Like, like why do we also have to be able to like, be physical and active and all that stuff? So one day you can go Umrah and Hajj and not have an issue with that too. Yeah, like people don't think about to that extent, but I think they really should think twice. Like, especially to these women, like I get it, you want to have fun at home, sure, but like try to be active because you don't want something to be to come unexpectedly later in the future.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I feel like the whole gym aspect, it gives me something to do. I feel younger, and I think also just quick because I know we're also running out of time, and I want to play a fun game with you. I feel like also I hate when people say, and I'm not sure about you, but I hate when people say, "Oh, it's because I'm old." I'm like, I'm like, bro, we're 30. I'm like, we're not old, man. We're still young. I'm like, people. One of my friends who I talk to with, he's like, "Ah, man, I'm old. We can't play basketball." I'm like, brother, there's no way I'm allowing a 20-year-old beat me. I'm like, we're going to the gym. I'm like, we're not old. Relax. You make it sound like we're 67 years old. And I told him age is just perspective.
It
Like, for
is.
example, yeah, someone who's younger than me might look, "Oh, yeah, this guy's old," but that's only because you think I'm older than you, but I also still feel like I'm young.
Yeah.
People at work think I'm 19 years old. I'm like, alhamdulillah, man.
I'll
It's
take
some
that as a
Arab
compliment.
genetics.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah.
It's an Arab genetics, but yeah, I was gonna play a fun game with you to get to know you a little bit better, and for our fans to get to know Coach Elise. I know. I was looking at the first question is going to be about food, and I was looking through your stories, and you seem like you eat really healthy. And Arabic food clearly is not healthy. So my first question I want to ask you is, what's your favorite Arabic dish? And then what is a dish that is healthy for you that you love to eat?
Oh my God, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna, because my favorite dish is a Syrian dish that even some Syrians don't even know it, but it's meatballs with cherry.
Meatballs of cherry. I
Yeah,
had to see a picture.
yeah. Wait, let me try to pull it up for you. Because the thing is, I
Out of all the Arabic dishes, that's what you like.
listen, here's the thing. So Arabic dishes, you said it right. Like our culture is always like oily, all that stuff, and like unhealthy, right?
Yeah.
I always tried, like me and my roommate, we always try to find ways that like, okay, we'll eat the things we like, but in a healthy way. People don't think that they can do that, but you literally can. So
Hmm.
this is what I do. Like when it comes to things that I love Arabic dishes. You know what I mean? And like yes, I can eat healthy. I know how to balance because balance is like, it's very important. But yeah, like it's important to keep in mind that like you can twist and change things. And this is what I do.
Hmm.
For that one, you need to put a lot of sugar for that to create the
Really?
sauce. Like I use stevia and then I use like brown sugar. I just like find it like it's better, like, why not? And like if you don't want to eat carbs, you don't want to eat bread, sure. I put like, whole
That's
wheat.
tough for a lot of Arabs not having khubz.
But that's the thing, like okay, meatballs with cherry. I want to just show you a quick picture because a lot of people don't know it.
Oh no, I
So
don't think I've ever seen it. And I
I
grew up
play
around
it.
Syrians too.
Yeah, see, Syrians don't do it. I think it's just because of where I come from. I'm from Aleppo, and being from Aleppo, we're like we learned a lot of stuff from Turkey as well. So like we're very like
Hmm.
so this dish is like not even out there. It's very specific to Aleppians and Turkish people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One of my friends is actually from Aleppo, so I gotta ask him. I haven't seen him
Ask
in a
him
long time.
if he knows it. But yeah, this is my favorite dish, right? And it's like I would say it's like not the best healthy option, but no, it's like it has like the meatball, which is what you need, the meats and everything. And the cherry is like it's a fruit. Like basically the way I make the sauce is I just take the cherry, you use it in the blender and everything, and then like I add like brown sugar to it just to make it thicker. It's consistency and that's it. Like, for me, I can eat that and I can make it healthy, right? My other healthy meal is there's so many. Let's see, because like I like tuna, like I like fish. So I like eating like tuna or salmon with avocados. For me, I don't know why, but this is like, it's so quick, it's so easy, and it's like happy whenever I eat it. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of avocado or tuna. I'm not gonna lie.
I forced my client to eat avocado
Do
and she
you?
didn't eat it now.
I think I'd be scared
Shut
if I was your
up.
client. I think I'd be scared if I was your client. I'd be like, oof.
No,
I'd be
it's
getting. It's like, did you eat your tuna? I'm like, no.
no, because like I have an ick towards tomatoes. I hate tomatoes, but
Really? I like tomatoes.
I force myself to eat it. I used to hate avocados too. My dad used to force feed me. I used to make it into a smoothie just so I can like, eat it or drink it or whatever. And like I used to struggle. I would close my nose. But then now I'm obsessed with it. And I think it's all in your head again. Like the idea
Maybe.
of icks and things that you prefer, that you like and you don't like. It's not even a reason.
I'm I'm gonna have an I'm gonna have an avocado and then send you a text that I ate an avocado.
Yeah, put some salt with it too.
Salt? Okay,
Yeah,
خلاص. I'm gonna remember that.
okay.
My next question for you is what's a workout you don't like? Like you know you have to do it today? Like for me it's squats,
Yeah.
100%. But what workout don't you like?
It's funny because I like squats is so tiring. Like putting weights itself is tiring, and then what is it called? For me, I have low iron, and so every time I work out, I could feel lightheaded. My blood sugar goes down. So I know how to take care of it. Like obviously, I'll have like the sugar or like an electrolyte, things like that. But still, I'm very very iron deficient. So whenever I'm doing squats and even when I'm doing like heavy weights, after I'm done, I am on the floor. Every set, I'm on the floor. You know what I mean? So I don't enjoy it, but it's a love-hate relationship because it's the one that I can do so much weights with, right? It's like my
Yeah.
strength. But at the same time, I like struggle to do it. So now, like, right now, I'm just like, on like a pause of doing like lower weights.
Yeah.
But literally, that's it. That's squats.
You're on a breakup with squats. What's a workout you love to do?
I do like hip thrusts and I like pull-ups.
Pull-ups? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love pull-ups. I think my goal now is to do what's that thing called? When you pull
Chin-ups?
yourself all the way. No, not chin-ups. When you pull yourself all the way up.
Oh,
Muscle ups, muscle ups, muscle ups.
yes, muscle-ups. Yep.
Yeah. That's what I think I need to do. But I think I still got to strengthen my back. As strong as my back is, I'm like, yep, I can't do that.
Yeah, your back, your legs too, because your momentum of how you push yourself to get up there.
Maybe one day you can come and show me some leg workouts because I'm telling you, I only do legs. I used to do legs twice a week. I used to split between quads and hams, and now I do it like once a week.
That's okay. I see, at least as long as you're doing it, it's consistency, but also you're not going to see results if you don't increase weights. You know what I mean? Because that's where your
Mhm.
comes from. So like always track it down. It's important to like track and see where your progress is because that's how you'll see the change and that's how you see muscle growth. Because if you're just like, like this is my comfort zone, like I'm doing this, I'm just gonna stick to that weight, you're not gonna see anything.
I gotta start. I feel specifically for legs. I gotta start writing down how much because I know like I do a lot of supersets with my legs, but I just wish my gym had a hack squat because I would be abusing it.
Well, maybe you can join our gym.
What gym are you at?
Salt and Fitness.
True. I'll talk to you after about it then. And my last question to you is what's your favorite quote?
It's the one on my bio. The body achieves what the mind believes. Because, like, it's very important to know that everything in your body is connected. Like, that's on the fitness aspect. That would be my quote. But then something that, like, keeps me going in my life is that everything happens for a reason. This is what always keeps me going, like, in my faith, in my daily life, and everything. I literally say that, and like, it makes me feel better because, like, I would go through a lot of hardships, and for me, it's like, I think we all ask ourselves, like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? The right time, things like that. But we don't know what's hidden for us. Like, in the end of the day, like, it's all a test, right? It might be a hardship that, like, for you right now at that time doesn't mean anything, but in the longer run, it is something meant to help you and make you stronger and learn and grow. Yeah, for me, like everything happens for a reason. I think I say it a lot. Even my friends hear me say it to them a lot when they're going through hardship. So that's my favorite quote too.
I love that. And with that being said, guys, I want to thank you for this amazing episode. I think people are gonna love it and how you were so vulnerable and you connected with so many different levels. And I'd love to have you back again, inshallah.
Um,
And before we end off, again, if you want to tell them where they can find you, I already followed you. So, guys, if you haven't followed Adis, go follow her right now. Go
yes,
support.
yes, please. So I currently have Instagram and TikTok. For my Instagram, it's Coach Alice underscore, and then for my TikTok, it's just Alice Ahmed. So, yep, you should be finding me both. But I post more on Instagram.
Well, I'm gonna be sharing your content for people to follow you definitely. Inshallah. Just don't leave, by the way, because I gotta. It's gonna